Generous love, respectful love, pure love, tender love, familial love, erotic love, friendly love, love.
This is the Caught Win podcast. We're talking about PreCure. Hello, fellow Idol fans who have been decrystallized by the power of love in your heart, and welcome to Cure of the What Now? Law! The one show where we know Catgirl Chokerine, Catgirl Chokerine, Catgirl Chokerine!
My goodness.
This is a podcast that reviews the long-running anime series PreCure. We are going to be covering the final 4 episodes of You Idol PreCure and giving our general thoughts about the series as a whole. I'm your host, Joel, and I am a giant 2D stand-like creature, and a strong wind would make me flap around like a giant, wacky inflatable tube man.
I knew it.
I almost got it.
You tried.
I
don't think you need arm. I think giant, wacky, inflatable tube man.
Yeah, it's like flailing arm tube man. There's a phrase, and I'm trying to get it exactly right. I'm not making up a new thing. I am using what came before me. But who am I talking to? Are you a ghost?
Absolutely not. I'm your host, Kat, and this is actually my final episode of this podcast ever.
Holy shit.
Not
you're going to go inside of the peach and you're going to fly away. We'll never be able to...
No, man, we'll be together forever.
Oh, okay.
Except also I am leaving.
Oh, no.
But in your heart.
But in my heart.
We'll always be together.
But also there will be a time skip and you'll be back with me again in the time skip.
You have to pick up a stick and cry and scream at the heavens.
Yeah.
And I'll reappear.
Absolutely. Now, sometimes we do a discussion question, sometimes we play a game called Who's That PreCure, sometimes we talk about what we've been watching and reading and whatnot. I'll just say, watch Ted Lasso, it's a great show, and we're going to do our discussion question at the end of the episode, but everything else is just nonsense. We're skipping it. We need to get right to the heart of this.
Ted Lasso could be a PreCure.
He absolutely could be a PreCure, yeah, or he'd support other people being PreCure.
Absolutely.
So, last 4 episodes. What were your general thoughts on these 4 specifically?
General thoughts? I really liked these episodes. I thought this was a strong finale to the series. It did feel a little rushed at times, but I don't think it actually was. I think that's the regular pacing for this series.
Absolutely. You know what we also sometimes do that might be helpful? Sometimes I give succinct summaries. And what's so great about these 4 episodes that we watched is I don't remember a single thing about the first one. Okay, so the first one was a New Year's episode, and that's it. It's Happy New Year's, and they're like, you know what? Let's try to be good and fight the darkness and stuff.
And Darkine attacks, but not very well.
She corrupts the heart tree to turn black, and people start going, oh no. In the next episode, Chokerine is back. Turned out she did not die, she just got melted into goo, and her brain's been reprogrammed, and she comes back looking like a band member from Kiss.
She purple now.
Yeah. She's purple. She does a bunch of evil stuff, but then they decide that the power of friendship is powerful, and she goes, oh my gosh, I might be your friend.
And they perform trio dreams again because they want to say 3 people together is powerful, and you should be with Cuddy and Zach because then you'd be a trio.
Absolutely. They cannot operate as the Naruto Shippuden team if they don't have their Sakura to join them and be useless in the final fight against Eve from the Bible. I swear to God, that's how Naruto ends.
But this is not a Naruto podcast.
This is not a Naruto
48.
podcast. Episode 48 is they are going to hold a concert for Darkine, and they hope that the light can reach Darkine, and Darkine says, LOL, no, here, have an army of Dark Rondas. And so they have to fight the army of 1,000,000,000 billion Heart Rondas, and Goofy dies. But this is not a Kingdom Hearts 2 podcast.
And it never will be.
Challenge accepted. Okay, and then the final episode, I mean, guess what happens? It's an episode of PreCure, it's a season finale of PreCure. They use the power of friendship and joy and light, and Darkine realizes that maybe she doesn't have to destroy the whole world, ? And the lands of light and darkness join together and can live side by side, exactly like Kingdom Hearts. And then we get the world's briefiest cameo of the next season's main cure. And then they all say goodbye to each other. There's a time skip, but only Uda looks any different after the time skip.
Kokoro looked a little older.
That's very interesting, because I saw a Reddit post that was the opposite, that Kokoro was the only one that didn't look older.
Oh.
But anyways, and then the series ends. And sometimes we laughed, sometimes we cried, sometimes we shook our fist at God wondering why he would put us in such a cruel, cruel environment.
Banana became a songwriter as an
course she
adult.
did, yeah.
Kokoro became an influencer.
Of course she did.
And Uda became an idol.
Right, crushing your dreams and predictions, specifically.
What do you mean?
Last episode, you said you didn't think that, you thought they were setting up for Uda to not become a PreCure.
Oh, yeah, well, because she said, not become a PreCure, not become an idol. Because she said, like, I don't want to be an idol. I want to be with all of you guys. And she didn't want, like, her singing to be constrained. She wanted to be free to, but whatever, you know? Whatever. It's fine.
Oh, shoot. Those have been your Succinct Summaries.
I didn't grade you on those. I forgot to time you, but I feel like you did a pretty good job.
I think some of them were succinct, and then some of them were just me rambling. But that's okay. That's very on brand for us.
Did you like how this series ended? I feel like we can treat this chunk of episodes as just the end.
Yeah, honestly, I got a little teary with everyone, waving their Kira wands or whatever they're called in order to give power of light to our girls. The fighting choreography in those last couple of episodes were pretty great. Something about the way that they decided that they didn't hate Darkine felt a little rushed, like you said. But ultimately, that's how all of these things go, right? The ultimate big bad never really has a lot of time in the spotlight. They show up to do evil things in the last, 3 episodes. And then our girls go, let's hold hands. And they go, you know what? I think I will hold your hand. What about you?
Yeah.
Is this a satisfying finale?
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of covered my broad thoughts, but I thought it was very nice. Each of the girls getting a chance to sing their song individually, I really enjoyed. I have a bone to pick with them being like, we're going to put on our final concert, because they didn't mean the last concert of the Idol PreCure ever, although it ultimately ended up kind of being that. What they meant was, this is the final time you'll feel sadness in your heart, which, nobody can promise that.
Well, and that's what they realized, right? I feel like they could have done a little bit better job having that be their motto. If they had shown them constantly being like, yes, with this, we'll end all of the world's problems. There will be no more darkness, and then Darkine will go away forever. But then they realize something about the way that Darkine is, or they realize, it's like that episode of Justice League when they kept... But anyways, they basically realize that you can't use violence to defeat the darkness. You can't punch your depression away, kind of a thing.
Right, yeah, you just have to accept that it will exist. And I just gotta say, as somebody who lives in the real world, where...
You do?
I do. Where there are bad feelings alongside good feelings, I'm tired of that being the lesson at the end of children's shows. I don't want to be told, well, if you want the good things, you have to take the bad things. No, I'm tired of bad things. I want to watch a show that's only good things, and darkness is abolished forever, and everyone lives happily. And they get to stay together.
Absolutely. We're just kind of going random thoughts or whatever. How did you feel about they can't be together? Okay, so I hear you loud and clear. You don't like that they had to be separated. But how well do you think that this show handled that separation compared to any other show where they have to go their separate ways at the end of the season?
Badly. I don't think that it had the same emotional resonance as a lot of the other shows that have done that. I don't think there was really any reason for it. At the very end, we see the heart tree regrowing, and Mararan and Puraran are able to come back for Uda's concert. So there's ultimately, no reason except to have a brief, goodbye, we'll see you later. And, they could have just been we're gonna go live home, but we'll visit. And had the same...
Yeah, I think the only two that I can think of off the top of my head that really did that was Witchy and Star Twinkle. And in both of them, there was the idea and the sense that they knew they were going to be separated after they beat the big bad. Witchy had an episode where they were going to use their final attack, and they both look down as they do the hand grippies, because they like, oh crap, we're never going to see each other again. And Star Twinkle had, oh my gosh, Lolly, you're going to have to go. This one, they get halfway through a party, and Purman's just like, we have to leave, right? And it's like, what? You're dropping that on us now?
Since when? Yeah. One of the most influential book series for me from when I was a child was the His Dark Materials trilogy, which is Golden Compass, Subtle Knife, and Amber Spyglass.
If you've seen the bad movie with a talking polar bear army at the end of it, that was the very bad adaptation of a very good book series.
Yes, absolutely. But at the very end of that series, this couple finds out that they can't live in each other's universes. They'll slowly die, whichever one decides to live in the other place. And they can't travel back and forth between each other's universes because that's basically creating, like, evil shades that are stealing people's souls. So they have to be separated forever. And that hurt me so badly as a child that I can't handle any sort of we'll never see each other again in my media or in real life. I find it very upsetting.
No, 100%. I get that. And it is kind of strange that PreCure always kinds of... I guess what they're trying to do is they're setting up a situation where they say, listen, the rules of the universe are the rules of the universe. You might wish to stay with your friends forever, but the portal between the mortal world and the witchy world are going to close, or the space aliens have to go back to their home planet. But then ultimately, each of the series that I can think of, they always have actually they're reunited in the end, and I think that's supposed to say that, like, no, your feelings can eventually fix these kinds of problems, which is, I think that's nice.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. And also, like, these are middle schoolers, right? So, of course, they're going to go their separate way. Are you still besties with whoever you were best friends with in middle school?
Absolutely not, yeah. But Mr. Saki got disentangled and thrown away. He got turned into a cat toy. He was viciously murdered by Mr. Muffins. All of this legally is a joke.
I was going to say, I don't know how I feel about your middle school best friend being a sock.
Sock puppet. He had eyes and he could talk.
Absolutely. Any other big notes about this group of episodes that you wanted to hit on?
Oh, like generally broad stuff? Are we going to talk about each episode independently, or are we going to just kind of throwing them all in the blender?
I figured we could narrow down as we...
Okay. I think that the way that they set up the... Like you said, everyone gets to play their individual songs at some point during these episodes, especially episode 48, I think it was. And I thought that was pretty cool. It gave very, like... characters are sacrificing themselves so that the main hero can go on and fight the big bad kind of a situation, except we knew they weren't going to die. But it was kind of cool how they did that. And Banana especially was given like a really cool choreography fight with, I mean, you only see it for like 2 seconds, but she jumps in the air, she creates the wink barrier, she bounces off of it in order to do a big kick. It's like, that was awesome. I wish we'd gotten one for Kokoro as well. I don't feel as hers was as impressive.
No, I agree.
Let's just go through my list here really quick. General thoughts for episode 46, the New Year's episode. The only thing that I wrote down is that Kokoro's antenna, her ahago, it briefly was waving like a cat's tail, and at one point she was talking to Uda about her feelings for Kaido, and it turned into like a little heart.
That's cute.
I love that stupid stuff that you can do in an animated form that would look either cheesy or just you couldn't do in a live action sort of a thing.
Absolutely. I thought it was cute that Tanaka was like, I thought a prank show would lift all of our spirits, but also if you surprised me during a party with a news crew coming to my house, I'd be a little like, no thank you.
Yeah. Well, and the pranks were like... Wasn't it just like we showed up and we're going to make you like juggle or something? Like it was pretty...
The prank was them showing up and then they just were like, show us your New Year's party.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So they did all their New Year's-y things together.
Mm-hmm. And I gotta say, I understand that I'm from a different generation and perhaps that's the new thing for the youngins. But I don't really understand like wanting to know that your favorite actor is just like you and likes avocados, or your favorite idol is someone who struggles with their math homework, because like I don't really care about that. And so I find it interesting that that's what they did to cheer up the town, is just like showing the girls just like doing whatever.
Yeah, maybe in idol culture people have different relationships with their idols, different, parasocial relationships, but that stuff just weirds me out. Like, celebrities are not real people to me, they're characters, and I'm not attached to the character.
Yes.
Whatever they do in their everyday lives is up to them. Like, Markiplier is my YouTube man, but you could be like, this is what he does on his days off, and I'd be like, and? Why are you telling me that?
If it was, I guess you said days off, I'm interested in learning about the creative process of like how they come up with videos or songs or whatever the case is, depending on what type of celebrity they are. But yeah, like what's their breakfast routine? Not really interesting to me.
Any other thoughts for episode 46?
No, I think that's everything for that.
All right, so episode 47, you just have written down here, Chokorine can fire a laser?
Yes.
Were you expecting her to not be able to fire a laser?
It seems like we didn't see Cuddy or Zacharin shooting lasers.
That's
particularly.
true. But she was specifically born of darkness.
That's so interesting. I think at one point I might have commented on the fact that it's weird that Chokerine and Darkine have names that are very similar. They both end in the "ine." And I mean, actually, yes, technically so is Picarine. I think we commented on all three of those connections. And it turns out that I was basically right, that Chokerine was created by Darkine, which is, like, literally her daughter. It's not produced the same way that, like, with a mother and a father, but it's still the offspring, the younger generation. But yeah, no, so she comes back. I love her new look. I love the little bat headband that she has in her hair. The purple streak, I think, looks a lot better than the green streak that she had before. But yeah, she... Make a peace sign with your hands, listener. Make a peace sign with your right hand. Make a peace sign with your left hand. And then make the two index fingers and the two middle fingers connect so you create a diamond. That's how she fired her laser.
It's the scissor beam.
Apparently it is. I just wish that it shot like a blade instead, because, you know, that would fit with the scissor theme kind of going on there.
What is a laser but a blade made of light?
Okay. If this were Destructo Discourse, the Dragon Ball podcast going through Super right now, that could be one of the episode titles that we nominate for what we would call this one.
Maybe that's how we do episode titles next season.
Okay, yeah.
This is jumping ahead slightly, but I feel like since we're talking about Chokerine and this was her episode, it's relevant here. Last time she got pulled into the goo, I was like, I'm pretty sure she's dead. And you were like, no, I'm pretty sure we saw her alive. And like, I didn't go back to check, so who knows who was right. Probably you. Shut up.
I was right, because you just think, it doesn't really matter which of us is right.
Probably you is what
you know
I
what?
said.
I'm just saying, give me my 100 points that I can take to the bank.
Absolutely, but I have bad news.
Yeah?
The banks are crashing.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you've lost anything you invested.
The banks were on a plane and the engines went off, and it just looks like the banks are going down.
Absolutely, yes. The banks were on the plane with the snakes, perhaps?
Yes.
And the rain in Spain. Anyway, so this time, Chokerine is dead for real. She got Thanos snapped.
Like, literally, yeah, evaporated.
And she was like, I can't exist with you guys because I'm made of darkness. Goodbye. And then at the very end of the last episode, they're like, a new fairy is being born. And she comes out, and it's a little Chokerine cat girl. And they're like, it looks just like Miss Chokerine. My hot take is that that's not her. She's not going to have the memories or personality of Chokerine. This is a reincarnation thing, but it's not.
Do you remember earlier on this podcast, you said that you wanted happy endings and you didn't want dark feelings or anything like that?
I do remember that.
So I think the idea that this isn't the same Chokerine might go counter to the desire for this to be a happy ending with a nice little bow on it.
Well, I don't believe it.
You're denying the existence of God in this case because it's just too inconvenient to... That was a weird metaphor, but I'm standing by it. I think it makes sense in my head.
Could you tell me, though, really quick, what's a metaphor?
Nothing. What's a metaphor you?
What is a piccolo?
Okay, so...
Other than an instrument.
In Dragon Ball Z, I'm going to make a long story short, but basically there is a older character, like an adult character, who ends up taking care of a small child. I think Gohan's like 6 or 8 at the time that this happens. He might even be 4. Doesn't matter. He slowly forms a bond with this child, even though he's the evil King Piccolo, the evil Demon King Piccolo. And when the bad guys show up, and one of them fires a giant laser that's going to kill Gohan, Piccolo throws himself in the way and sacrifices himself in order to, like, he takes the blast so that Gohan doesn't have to.
Because that's his son.
Because, yeah, that has become his son in the years since he has been forced to start raising this child. But there was a point, and gosh, I can't remember specifically if it was like Darkine or a Dark Rhonda or something, but there was a blast that was going to hit Chokerine, and those two jumped in the way in order to take the blast. And, like, that's pretty cool, but it's also framed almost exactly the same way as the Piccolo, which is like a famous scene from Dragon Ball Z.
There was also a scene in the final episode where Darkine did the Kamehameha.
Okay.
So I think maybe that they're just Dragon Ball Z fans.
They probably
the people
are.
Who made this show.
Absolutely.
That's what it's called, right? When he does the hands thing?
So when he puts his hands together and he charges up the beam and he says Kamehameha, that's the Kamehameha wave, which he learned from Master Roshi from the Kame school, which stands for turtle.
Right.
But he has another attack he learned from King Kai. I think it was King Kai who taught him it, where he raises his hands into the air and people give him their positive energy and it creates a bomb called the Spirit Bomb. And if you're pure of heart, you can deflect the Spirit Bomb off of yourself, but if you're evil, it blows up and it hurts you a lot. And I think the way that it was a ball shape that she threw, it felt more like the Spirit Bomb to me.
Interesting. Okay, because for me, it was specifically she's in the Goku pose and she's firing something at them.
Okay, yeah. Maybe it's a hybrid of the two. It's a ball technique like the Spirit Bomb, but it's the hand gesture that is.
Absolutely. At any rate, I feel as though the writers must be Dragon Ball Z fans.
I think I agree with that. There was that episode 40?
That was 47.
No, hang on. When did they fight the evil heart tree? Was that the New Year's episode?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I need to go back to the New Year's episode really quick.
Okay.
There was a scene where Cure Idol was doing her punch, and there was like a single flash of like half of her face being in shadow. It looked so cool. I don't know why they decided to make her have one really cool punch and why they did it in that episode and not an earlier episode, but it worked for me.
Yeah,
very good.
The animation in this series has just gone really hard, and especially in these last 4 episodes.
Absolutely. The other thing I want to say related to jumping back to 47 now, but I really like. Are we going to splice in the...
I was going to say, what are you going to be
totally
like?
Forgot.
Let's take it to past Joel. Your organization is fantastic. We recorded little snippets of our impressions of each episode, except for the last one, after we watched each of them. And so I guess they'll go here.
Yeah, this is future Joel going back to past Joel to hear... Well, past Joel and Kat to hear their thoughts on episodes 46, 47, and 48. Thank you, future Joel. We just finished watching episode 46, the one that's about New Year's.
Yeah, so the girls are surprised by the news. It's a prank show, apparently. Tanaka says that a couple of times. It's a prank show. And they celebrate the new year, and then...
Nothing goes wrong.
The sakura tree is pink, and that's good. And they go to sleep, they drink some coffee, and they go to sleep somehow. And then they wake up, and the sakura tree is black, and that's oh no. And it sucks the juice out of like 5 town citizens, all the people who came to film them. And then it's a dark Ronda, and they gotta punch it, and they punch it real good, and they sing their song of punching, and they kill the dark Ronda, but oh no, the tree is still black, and then everything goes black, and they're like, Darkine's power is here. And by they, I mean our favorite husbands.
Yeah, the two first canonically gay men.
I wanted to call him Kizuto, but that's not Kizuna?
Kirito, yeah. Kaito. Sword Art on Idol. Very lovely, succinct summary. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yeah, thumbs up. It's cute.
Yeah, thumbs up for me as well. The one shot that I will call out is when Uda does her really big idol fist punch. There's like a flash of like black, and it looks pretty cool.
Yes. Also, I would expect the tree Dark Ronda to not be now. Like, they beat it almost immediately, and I was like, wasn't this going to be a bigger villain? But no, it was just a setup for
the first part of a 4-part episode. All right, thank you so much. We go back to you, future Joel and Kat. Thank you, future us. We now go live to our reactions after having finished episode 47? Hang on. Yep, 47 of You Idol PreCure. Catherine, what is your thoughts?
I really liked this episode,
Okay.
But also it took them a strangely long time to come to the obvious conclusion that if everybody is feeling sad, we should throw them a concert.
I feel like they already did do that in an earlier episode, in the Christmas episode. I thought that's what they did.
They only have the one trick, dog.
Succinct summary, the heart tree has turned into a black heart tree, and everyone's sad, and they decide that they're going to throw a party. Also, they decide to let us know that actually Chokorine wasn't all bad back in the day, even though we've only seen her being explicitly bad. And they go, maybe we could win her over with little gifts?
Zach and Cuddy miss her, and they want to have a not evil company, and they do win her over with song.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Darkine is invited to their big concert.
Yeah, PreCure Giant Lady, but evil.
God damn.
We now go back to you, future Joel and Catherine. Thanks, future Joel. I just realized that there's going to be 4 segments of me saying thanks, future Joel, and it feels like maybe we're going to splice all 4 of these into the episode like as one chunk, but I can also edit it out.
Maybe future Joel will say something like, wow, you guys sure are funky fresh. So each time you're thanking him for something different.
Okay, yeah. So we just finished watching You Idol episode 48. The Dark Ronda invasion has begun, and the girls each sang their solo songs. And then Darkine goes, actually, I'm super badass. And then they lose their power or whatever.
Yeah, big death flags for everyone but Cure Idol, but it's pre-Cure, so not actually death, just sit in a crystal for a while.
Yeah, also they Thanos snapped Chokerine.
She's in the goo now, isn't she, Joel?
She was in the goo before, now she's just gone. She's dead. There's no coming back. Well, except it's pre-Cure, but... Yes.
They'll wish her back into existence, and she won't be pure dark this time because it was their love that created her instead of Darkine's hatred. This was a really good episode. I am overly tired probably, but I felt some big emotions watching this. In fact, if there was an attack from me, it could be called pre-Cure big emotion.
See, they already have a high emotion.
That was the joke I was making.
I feel like you're supposed to have big emotions from this, and I think that it's a really well put together finale, but the pre-battle before the actual final battle, and we will see, will we get a 5-person, what's it called, heart ribbon transformation? I swear to God, if they only give Uda the transformation.
Maybe everybody will transform because you and I are Idol PreCure.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
They're going to all hold hands and they're all going to turn. Anyways, back to future Joel, or potentially, oh no, because the next Joel who records will also be a future Joel, but less future than the one who is in the episode.
How interesting. By the way, why is it always future Joel and it's never future Catherine?
Because I conceive of this show as this podcast is my podcast, and I perceive you as the co-host.
And I'm just here to be pretty.
And we now return to your regular show. The studio? We're now back in the studio.
I'm so glad we're back in the studio. Welcome back.
Yes. Something that... Okay, so you may not know this, how the process works, but before we record a main episode, we also record cold open candidates. And we try to come up with several for each episode that we watched, and then there's a voting process, or sometimes one of us just says, I love this one so much it's going to be the cold open. But we have several versions that you don't hear, because we can only pick one or two, so maybe this will be the cold open. I don't think it will be. But I had one where I commented on... It's weird that Zach and Cuddy have only right now, as of episode 46 or 47, I think it was 47. Was it 46 or 7?
7.
But they finally are like, you know what? We actually kind of liked Chokerine. And she actually was nice to us sometimes. And I don't mind that she had some good moments. They seem human enough. They have highs and lows, positive and negative emotions. I kind of wish... that maybe it feels almost like they retconned it right here, because they decided, you know what, we should redeem Chokerine. I think that once they became good, they should have had a moment of we have to help Chokerine, but they couldn't go back to the bar that she hung out at or something. They wanted to help, but they didn't know how to. And in this episode, when she shows back up, they're like, finally, we can give her that group hug we've been wanting to give her, you know?
I agree, yeah. I wish that there were more consistent, character arcs and through lines. I said the same thing before, when we did our What is Bananas deal bit.
Right, yeah, I don't know, I totally agree. Okay, so now we're on to 48, unless you have something to say about
I don't think
47?
so.
Okay, so this episode tells us that Darkine is not a person that was born, not even a fairy that grew out of a heart tree or whatever. Is it still a heart tree in Kira Land? Do they have one? That's where the fairies are being born out of? Okay, so there's just multiple heart trees. But Darkine was actually born from the darkness in the hearts of humans. So she's just a fearful reflection of humanity. That's Mahito.
That's Mahito,
That's Mahito from Jujutsu Kaisen. And also, did you know that in the first 2 seasons, the best fight scene in Jujutsu Kaisen was actually Mahito versus Uda? Sakura. Kojima. Itadori and Nanami.
I was so afraid you were going to forget Nanami's name somehow. Nanami,
my dad.
Tanaka shaking hands.
Yes, absolutely they would shake hands.
Dad, daddy.
Imagine Tanaka being what are the names and locations of all of your allies? How many people are attacking Kira Land?
Amazing. No, that was a really good fight. A super sexy YouTuber actually did a really good video on it recently.
Oh, thank you.
Everybody should check it out.
Yeah.
That was you.
That was me. When I record that video, I actually put a finger underneath my nose and pretend that I wasn't Joel, but you'll notice it was uploaded to the same YouTube channel and podcast feed as this episode.
Oh.
Yes. Oh. Also, I didn't put this in my notes, but like, okay, so Darkine shows up, and she's PreCure Giant Lady, but evil. But we don't like it. Derogatory
We
PreCure
didn't get
Giant
a
Lady.
good PreCure Giant Lady.
Not this episode,
I don't think
no.
they've done that the last few seasons.
But could you imagine if there was a giant dog in Wonderful? It's like the final. But no, so Darkine is this giant shadow. But then it turns out that there's both. There's the giant shadow that looms over the town and has Petalgeese hands from ReZero.
Betelgeuse Romanicanti.
Des! You're a fake fan because you didn't turn your head to the side when you said Des, like he does.
I am a woman.
That
So
is
anything
true.
I'm a fan of, and naturally,
You have
I'm
to
a
prove
fake.
that you have to. Yeah, absolutely. But no, what's interesting is it almost is like a stand. Like the big version is like this like thing that she can summon.
Yeah, because she's behind it, and it's like 2-dimensional.
It's so flat. It like when I saw the side shot of it, I laughed because it looks so funny. But it is kind of interesting that if she's born of fear and negative emotions, of course you would make a giant scary thing to go ooga booga boo because that's going to only make you stronger.
Absolutely. And I sympathize with her because I also was born from humanity's hatred, and I'm like, damn, you people are loud.
Yeah, she just wanted silence. She's just an autistic person that like gets overwhelmed by sounds and doesn't have enough battery in her noise-canceling headphones.
Yeah, and she's depressed. What was the quote that her monologue reminded me of? From Brave New World, the quote is, "Actual happiness always looks pretty squalid in comparison to the overcompensations for misery."
Okay.
And the idea was that, like, people who have freedom believe they have happiness, but only because they work so hard to overcome all the bad stuff. But if you get rid of all the bad stuff, they're actually happy and they have no reason to work hard to overcome it. And that was a quote that was not meant to be inspirational, but that didn't stop me from taking it that way, reading it as a 12-year-old.
Of course, yeah. When we're young, sometimes we take things that should be interpreted one way and interpreted another way.
Tyler Durden's a good guy.
Tyler Durden is cool as hell.
He's correct that I am neither unique or beautiful or a snowflake.
Also, this is a story that if you listen to like every podcast I'm on, or if you've listened to Destructive Discourse, you'll hear this story at some point. But if you go on your smart TV and you search for Fight Club, you might find a movie you can rent through Amazon Prime called Fight Club that was made in India in like 2019. Fight Club's from like 1990 something. And so that's not the same movie. And they will not refund you because they know that you clicked on it by mistake, most likely. There's probably some people who watch the Indian Fight Club, but that's probably not the one you want if you're looking for the hit American classic about, you know how it ends. You know the secret twist. I'm not going to spoil it for you if you don't know.
Everyone was dead the whole time.
Yeah, absolutely. They are actually all spiders, but they imagine themselves as people. And it's still to this day, I don't understand how we didn't catch the fact that Tyler Durden had 6 arms. Like, that really should have been the giveaway.
Should have been the giveaway.
I thought we'd have more to say. It kind of feels like we're rushing through this, but also the final battle episodes are never really anything. They're nothing unique. You know what I'm saying? Like, every single PreCure season is going to have a moment where the bad guy goes, I'm super duper powerful, and the PreCure are gonna go, we're gonna fight you, and then they all get knocked down. Sometimes it's the lead cure who's like the last one standing, and then she gets knocked down.
But she gets up again. You're never gonna keep her down.
So, yeah, and then they all fight together, and they give a rousing speech about friendship. Most of the time, they kind of do the spirit bomb thing or the Paper Mario thing where they gather the good energy of the people.
Did you cry when Cure Idol said that they're here for you?
No,
They're singing to inspire you.
That one felt cheesy to me, but I absolutely understand why it would work for some people. I don't think it was a bad line. It wasn't the thing that worked for me the best. I like when they all are working together and they're all being powered up and they're all helping each other. Surprisingly, the Heart Idol ribbon mode, or whatever it's called, her Ultra Instinct, she didn't use it in the final. She used it before the all hope is lost moment. She didn't use it in the final version of the fight, and the other 4 did not get transformations. I'm really surprised by that. You'd think that the final punch would be at least Uda being in the red suit.
I feel like Because I heard that the person in charge of this series was new and she was like playing with some stuff. I feel like she was trying to mess around with some of the tropes and just didn't quite get there, you know? Like either do the trope or don't do the trope, but doing it part way was weird.
Yes, absolutely. I think they were good episodes. I just don't know that I have a lot to say other than like it was pretty inspiring to see them kind of like fighting through the darkness and stuff.
No Cure Connect.
No Cure Connect. So we complained about Cure Connect in the last episode, and if you've ever seen Scott Pilgrim, there's the character, I think his name is Komu or whatever, who knows everything. It's like a little title card that shows up. AU is the person who knows everything about PreCure, knows all of the behind-the-scenes stuff and whatnot. And they said that the only reason that Cure Connect was a thing is because the voice actor is the biggest, like, he's the shit.
He's the biggest idol in Japan right now.
Yeah, exactly. But that doesn't explain to me why he's only in one episode.
Maybe they only could pay him to sing for one episode.
That's fair.
And if you're going to have the Cure, why wouldn't you have them sing?
Right. Yeah, no,
we didn't watch the season that's about the future, Hugto PreCure. But in the finale of that, everybody is a PreCure. Mm-hmm. The ice skating boy is a PreCure. That's actually the very first boy cure in PreCure, if you count it. But the whole town becomes PreCure, and this is the kind of show where I would have expected that because they kept emphasizing the you and I part, especially in the last, 10 episodes. So I would have loved to have seen Cure Connect be like, let's cheer on the PreCure, and then he transforms, and then everyone else joins in, and then they all transform.
He connects them to the power of the PreCure.
Yes, and then the whole town sings together.
Okay, yeah, I really like that. Coulda, woulda, shoulda in another universe. I'm still happy with the finale that we got. I do think that there are other series. I think I'd have to go back and rewatch them all. But Princess and... Well, no, Heartcatch... No, hang on. Was Heartcatch Erika Kurumi?
Yes.
Okay. Heartcatch and... Oh, why is my brain broken? Star Twinkle and Go Princess, I think, are the three top finales for me. This one's good. It's not bad. It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Go Princess remains the best season of PreCure, and anybody who wants to fight me on that is going to have to come prepared to, really throw down.
Absolutely.
Oh, man. We were talking about AU being like Komu from Scott Pilgrim, and I was going to follow that up with a joke of, but does AU know a girl with hair like this?
A PreCure with hair like this. And you make the hand gesture for, big twirls and, a loop-de-loop, because their hair is getting crazy on these shows.
Yes, it is. Is there anything else you wanted to say about this final episode before we move on to our last discussion question for the season? I just thought of one. The handoff, the baton pass.
Right, yes. Oh, yeah, of Cure Answer showing up, right?
Yep.
What'd you like
of a nothing
about
burger.
it? There have been other seasons where a monster will show up. Not explained why there's another monster after the big bad's been taken out, but they will transform. The other Cure will show up and fight with them, and they'll be like, who was that? And, I know it's formulaic, but I'd prefer something like that. She literally just, shows up. They remind you that Hammery was a soft launch of Star Detective PreCure. They look at each other and they solve the mystery of why the people with party balloons might be going to a party, and then she flies off. And, like you said, nothing burger. I would have preferred if there was some more interesting lead up to the detective work. I wish that she'd been on screen for a little bit longer. She seemed, her design is cute. And her fairy is absolutely Moferin 2.0. It's
an adorable little panda thing.
Yeah. But yeah, we didn't really get a whole lot from her.
That said, just from this initial impression, do you like her design?
Yes, I do like her design quite a bit.
Once again, very young-looking main Cure. That's a baby.
That is a baby. Yeah, that reminds me of when I saw the wonderful main girl, and I was like, she's 3.
That 5 head is a weapon in most countries.
In Dragon Ball Z, not that I've been watching a lot of that lately, but there's a technique called the solar flare, which allows you to basically create a giant flash of light that blinds your enemies. And the joke in the fandom is that it works on everyone, no matter how strong they are. So, like, why don't they use it more often? Her 5-head just naturally creates the solar flare without any kind of, like, key manipulation or anything like that.
Absolutely. I love the little hearts in her hair as Cure answer. And also, she's got a tie on because she's a detective.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Do we want to discuss her design here, or do we want to wait until our dedicated, we just watched episode 1 kind of review?
I figured I'd do a quick impressions.
Of,
and
like,
then
what
we'd
you see when you saw her.
Give more in-depth impressions later. First main Cure who's not pink. Her color scheme is purple, which is interesting.
Yeah. What do you mean first who's not pink?
Because the main Cure in every other season has been pink, hasn't she?
Cure Black?
Who?
The original Cure?
Not familiar. Anyway.
No, hang on. Was Black? Yeah, Black was the punchy girl, right? And White was the dress girl. Yeah, okay. But no, I'm interested to see what happens with her character, and I'm hoping that we get a hammery cameo in her series.
Absolutely. Maybe this will be the first season to be a direct sequel. It's never happened before.
Absolutely, 100%.
Did I make that joke already?
Yes.
Beans.
What do you mean joke? It's just fact. You know that...
Kind of like how Bulbasaur was the only pure grass type in Gen 1 of Pokemon.
Okay, so no.
I'm referencing somebody else's recurring joke.
Well, no, but you don't understand. The joke is that Chikorita was the first pure grass Pokemon to show up, because in Gen 1, almost all the grasses were either part bug or part poison.
I think you're mistaken. I think I got the joke exactly perfect.
You got the joke exactly perfect. It's incredible that you knew that Vileplume was the first pure grass Pokemon in any generation of Pokemon.
Absolutely. There are 6 Egyptian gods.
Wow, we are all over the place. You don't want to know what's fun about ADHD? I had something I wanted to say just before you said... what do you think about Cure Answer's cameo? And I was like, okay, we'll answer Cure cameo pretty quickly and I'll get back to it. And we went on such a tangent. What I was going to say is I like Darkine and Chokorine's fairy forms. Very cute.
Yes.
You know, perfect.
Cat girls.
Absolutely. Going in the thumbnail for sure.
I need you to tell me.
Yeah.
If you put them in a war, who would win, cat girls or cat boys? What's cuter? What does the internet like more?
I think the people who are really into cat girls and the people who are really into cat boys, I feel like there's more horniness on...
What? I just meant thinking they're cute.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So you can, if you think of them as cute and you take that out of the equation, I still think that the cat girls are going to win. I think the cat boy is a riff, is a spin-off, is a derivative of the original.
Okay, I could see that. I also would have accepted as an answer, why do they have to go to war?
Yeah.
Why can't cat boys and cat girls exist in solidarity?
In the middle of the war, they just start making out with each other.
Cat gender is not a binary. It's a bimodal distribution.
A binary? Almost got it.
That could have been a great final thought if we hadn't had anything else.
Except, yes, of course, we have to ask the most important discussion question. Now that we finished this episode, if you're just joining us for the first time, welcome. We're glad to have new listeners. But we famously did not finish Soaring Sky, and I don't think that we even started to review Wonderful. We
watched like 2 episodes of it, and we were like, no.
No, we got to like 12 or so. We got to the 4th Cure was about to show up. It was the this cat works alone and doesn't trust anybody arc. But like we dropped it pretty early on, right? But we stuck through with this one. And we can't say that we stuck with it because we have podcast obligations, because we dropped the last season. Although, to be fair, I think that was when my depression stand manifested, which really affected productivity and stuff. However, with all of that out of the way, what makes this season good enough, or what makes it so attractive to us that we actually finished watching it?
I think it's partially got to be the premise, right? Because I've been sitting on this question a lot, and I was like, well, is it that the characters are more compelling? And like, no, I think the Soaring Sky girls and Boy Bird technically had more character to them. They had more things that they wanted. They had arcs. So it couldn't be that. But I think that like the fact that there was songs made a huge difference.
Okay.
For me, at least. I don't know about you.
Oh gosh. See, I have the memory of a very forgetful bee. So like, to me it feels like the arcs in Wonderful and the arcs in Soaring Sky, I didn't care very much, right? Sora wanted to be a hero, but like I never felt like they really interacted with what it means to be a hero.
Yeah, like they didn't really like take that motif on the same way that like My Hero Academia did.
Well, or the way that this show dedicates itself to the idol aspect of it. It people can argue with me, they can be like, I disagree, but like I try to remember past Cure characters and I go, I'm bored. Like Mashiro, I know AU specifically really likes Mashiro's story, but like once I had like 2 episodes of her, I was like, yeah, I get it. I know what Mashiro's about. Whereas this show, Banana still isn't really my favorite, and I'd say that she maybe is the weakest for me, but like you constantly get cute moments with Uda. Uda and Purin's relationship is adorable. Kokoro is just a gem. She's a national treasure. Protect her at all
Banana's
costs.
connection to Mararun.
Right, yes, absolutely. And so like, to me, it is partially the characters, possibly also the setup, like you were saying. And I don't know, it has a secret sauce, but I don't know what it is.
Something about the way they play off each other. I do think the animation really helps to carry it as well. The fact that they do the cute little cutout bubbles. This season was hilarious. I don't really remember a lot about our experience watching Soaring Sky, but I do feel like I laughed a lot more watching this than I did watching that one. And like, Tropical Rouge PreCure was hilarious. I loved those girls, and we made it all the way through Tropical Rouge. Yeah, I don't know. I can tell you what it was about Wonderful.
Okay.
The Wonderful girls felt like children, which is fine. They are children. This is a show for children, but there are series where it's more or less like that. They feel more or less their age. And as an adult, it is easier to watch something when I don't feel like I'm just watching a bunch of toddlers running around.
Could you imagine like a picture that is like, oh gosh, I can't even think of characters. Cure Black and Cure White, Nagisa, and she has a name, sitting at the table, and next to them are Elena, and next to them are Chocolat and Macaron, but then off to the side is the kids table with all of the Wonderful characters sitting there.
I can't imagine that.
Eric and Karumi drawing with crayons next to the Wonderful girls.
Absolutely.
And hey, listen, I just want to emphasize, no matter what season you like, we're not coming after you, but you know, certain episodes work better for us than others.
AU has encouraged us to go back and finish Wonderful, and she mentioned a specific episode, and I was like, I don't know that in the mental state I'm in with the family stuff I have going on, that I'll be able to handle something really emotional without preparing myself. I should go read the description of the episode, and just reading the description of the episode had me bawling. You came downstairs and you were like, what's happening? And I was like, I read about a dog dying. And you were like, why would you go read that? It wasn't the main dog. So no spoilers, don't panic, folks out there.
Yeah, I still think that maybe a trigger warning would help, but I don't know how you trigger warning against that without giving away what you're going to be talking about, right? Yeah, I think maybe theoretically I want to go back and I want to watch all of PreCure, but like there's so much other stuff that I also want to do. I want to come back to that thought, put a pin in it. I want to circle back to what makes this show so good, You Idol. I think for me, okay, so I am like a baby goose. I imprint on characters super fast. And sometimes there's a reason. I can point at Bakugo and I can be like, it's his explosive personality. I love that. I love that so much. Erika, I love that she's brainless. What's my girl's name? The Kurara. Kurara?
Kurara.
She's a superstar. You see her and you're like, oh my gosh, she's so
Twinkle,
amazing.
right?
Pure Twinkle, yeah. And so I think that this season has Kokoro. I almost called her Erika. It has Kokoro, and Kokoro remains consistent. The Cure Flamingo girl, no, Flamingo was good. Who am I thinking of? I'm thinking of Cure Butterfly is who I was thinking of. Cure Butterfly had a really strong introduction, and I latched onto her the same way I latched onto several other characters I just mentioned, but I feel as though she kind of petered out, and I wasn't as interested in her going forward.
The Soaring Sky Girls were platypi.
Okay. And they're mammals with, like, toxic claws?
No, they didn't do much.
Oh, that kind of platypus. Okay, yeah.
Platypi are not mammals, they're monotremes.
I thought... But don't they have something that's, like, mammalian, like they lactate or something? Like,
They
there's
do
something
lactate.
about them
They lay
that's...
eggs, but they also lactate.
I see, okay. Anyways, this is not a biology of the platypus
But
podcast.
it could be if you loved your wife.
I just feel like we'd run out of material talking about the biology of the platypus. That'd be like a special short series.
It could be a biology and ethology podcast, and I could introduce you to a new species every week.
Ethology? Like the study of ethics?
No, ethology is the study of natural behavior of a species. So when you're looking at, like, a dog, what do dogs behave like out in the world without any human influence on them?
Trick question, dogs aren't real. They were made up by Wonderful PreCure to sell more merch.
Why? Anyway, back to PreCure.
Back to PreCure. No, yeah, so characters work for me, and if I continue to like them throughout the series, I will stick with it. But if they kind of drop off, then I lose a little bit of interest.
The internet says that monotremes are a type of mammal, but I maintain no, it's a different thing. I didn't want anyone to get up my butt about it. With you
and Idol.
With you imprinting so hard on characters, I've been doing my best to just, like, slam your face into Zenitsu from Demon Slayer and some of my other favorite boys, and it doesn't seem to be working. So I'm gonna have to figure out what the sauce is, and I'm gonna have to make it work.
It's a thing in my brain. Like, same with... I imprinted on Banana, but wrong. Because, like, no matter how many episodes they give me with Banana, no matter how cute she is, no matter how wonderful she is, the Halloween episode, that was a great episode for her. But I still am, at the end of the day, going to be like, I don't care much for her. I love all of my children equally. I've never really liked Banana or Marilyn. So yeah, it's an activation switch in my brain, and I cannot... It's an activation flip in my brain, and I can't switch it on and off intentionally. You know what I'm saying?
Bless your heart.
Now, we should have discussed this before we recorded the episode, but I will say that personally, doing a monthly, right? We were doing weekly at one point, and that was tough. Even switching to a monthly format, it still doesn't feel like I have enough time to pursue other hobbies in my life. We're working on the Magnus Archives review podcast, and we're only like halfway through the series so far. I have another big project that I would like to do that's about another series that is also finished, so it would be on a timeline, but like it's going to take up a lot of time. I want to pursue writing and such. So what I will say right now is we're going to watch the first episode of Star Detective. That's a Nen promise. I cannot break it or my heart will explode. We will review it on the podcast. I don't know if we will consistently upload episodes about Star Detective, but I will try my best to watch them episodes as they come out, so if a really amazing one comes out, we can jump on mic and be like, oh my god, did you see that? They detected that guy so hard his head exploded.
Maybe what we do is when there's a big moment, right? We get on and we say, here are our thoughts about this series so far. Yeah. And then we get off and we disappear forever.
Yeah, or it's a quarterly thing. Like after 3 months we check in, we say it's been 3 months of Star Detective. It's been. And then after 6 months, 9 months, etc., and that sort of thing. But like I said, I'm not declaring anything about our upcoming upload schedule. Maybe we will become a wholly dedicated PreCure podcast, and I will say F that to the other projects that sound interesting to me. But if we don't continue uploading PreCure, then, we're probably still watching in our personal lives. But we have other stuff that we'd like to talk about.
Absolutely. Joel was like, do you want to end the podcast? Do you want to put the podcast on hiatus? And I was like, nope. We should feel free to do as much as we feel like when we feel like doing it, but we should leave our options open. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Never say never, right? There's always a chance that we will get on mic and talk about One Piece again someday.
We might go back to One Piece someday. Our neighbor just watched every episode of One Piece that is available on Netflix. It's like 860 or something.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I have a really fun project. Oh my gosh, we haven't even released the... Okay, so let's say that we have an episode that's been recorded but hasn't been uploaded yet called Episode X. I've already figured out how we're going to do a sequel to Episode X, Episode Y, X Even Harder. And that's going to be possibly tangential to One Piece.
I want you to know if there were special guests on Episode X.
Yeah.
Those special guests text me every day going, is the episode up yet? We haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's really hard when you have 3 episodes in the chamber that you're trying to edit and upload. Check out the Jujutsu Kaisen episode. It's really good. I worked really hard on it.
You worked really hard on it, and more people should watch it.
Also, we have an episode coming out on Valentine's Day, which I think will come out after this episode, because I think I'm going to prioritize editing this so that people can hear our thoughts on the finale episode. We ramble so much on this show.
Baby.
Yeah.
We are never going to be like the people who don't ramble and plan their thoughts.
That's fair.
Embrace our unique sparkle.
Our unique flavor, which is not pistachio, not vanilla, not chocolate, but something that fuses. Is that Neapolitan? Is the third flavor Neapolitan pistachio?
It depends. I think technically Neapolitan is strawberry chocolate vanilla, and there's a different word for chocolate vanilla pistachio, but okay. I've seen it both ways.
What I was trying to say is that we are not the flavor of peanut butter. We're not the flavor of mint. Why would you mix those two? Jesus Christ. And we are not the flavor of chocolate with itty bitty sprinkles on top.
Sprunks?
We're kind of like all 3 of them mixed together. We are our own unique thing.
Absolutely. And that's been your
final thought.
Yep, that's the final thought of all time. Don't forget to vote in the PreCure Awards. We love you. Goodbye. Generous love, respectful love, pure love, tender love, familial love, erotic love, friendly love, love. Darkine's got the fingies.
You are going to be so lucky if that didn't peak.
Don't forget to stay.
We are doing an outro now. Do. What?
Kira la la.
Kira la la la
Kira
la.
It doesn't come out as well when you're speaking in English.
No. All right, everyone. Have a good night.